Rev up your engines!
All right, the United States government now says they're planning on shutting down 8,000 EV chargers, shut down electric vehicles that they already have. Of course, to save money, right? These things lose money. Not that many people use them, and that they're not going to buy any new ones. Now, these chargers are both used by federally owned electric vehicles and by private electric vehicles that the workers in the buildings use. They say they're doing it to, quote, align with the current administration. And they also took the web page off that was dedicated to electrification. They took that off. It's not on the internet anymore. They're not bragging that they're going to electrify things. So much of the Biden administration's plan by 2035, all federal vehicles are going to be fully electric. Myth of zero emissions electric cars. Hey, pollution's still coming from the tires, from the brakes, and the generation of the electricity. Come on now. Let's not live in a fantasy world. And it probably is the beginning of the end of the feds running out and buying all these stupid electric vehicles. We all know the government's inefficient. And hey, I know guys that work at the post office, right? They got mechanics that can keep those old clunking gasoline ones running, but those guys don't know anything about how to fix electric vehicles. They would have to have all new training, all new tools, and a learning curve. It takes years to learn how to actually fix things, how they break, and the actual high prices of parts for electric cars versus gasoline cars. Hey, I mean, it looks like things are really turning around there. Well, we got a new year, 2025, but we got the same old Ford. Now they're recalling 240,000 vehicles. What are they recalling? 2020 to 2021 Ford Aviators and Ford Explorers, right? They didn't tighten the seatbelt bolt down. Can you imagine? I mean, Ford has quality control problems, but they can't even tighten the seatbelt bolt on that holds the pre-tensioner on, that holds the whole thing in place. And if they're not tight, guess what? When it tensions and the bolt's not tightened, the whole thing could fly off. And then the seatbelt's not doing its job. If they can't even do such simple things, how does that bode for the rest of the vehicle? Right? Really, I mean, Ford, you need to get rid of Farley, get rid of your head, start over again. Obviously, he's not working out too well. Their quality keeps going down, 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 and they keep talking about, we got to improve our quality, but they don't do anything about it. The problems with the valves breaking on the Bronco V6 engines, because, oh, well, we bought it from these places in Ohio, you know, they didn't make the valves in the engine right. Now they're cranking the engines blow up. They really need a quality control expert in that place to put the hammer down, but they're not. And of course, the worst thing on earth for any corporation is to farm out important things like the valves in an engine to some other company where they have no control over quality whatsoever, you know? It's sort of biting them. They thought, oh, we'll save money by doing this. Look at the money we're saving. The bean counters, we're having a field day. They're opening champagne. Look, we saved the company money. Yeah, now you got valves that are broken, right? Seatbelts aren't even being tightened down. Hey, there's serious problems at Ford. Well, like I say over and over, I don't advise buying an electric car because the technology still isn't in place that really works there well. And now BMW is putting a comeback saying, we think lithium-ion batteries can still improve before we need solid-state batteries. They don't want to say, oh, God, we got solid-state ones now because they're not ready for that, right? BMW now is claiming that solid-state batteries are still far, far away and super expensive. But they say the next generation BMW electric vehicles will have 30% more range and 30% faster charging using the lithium battery packs and not solid-state. Now, of course, they always claim stuff that never comes to fruition, right? And if anybody shouldn't be talking about cost-effective batteries, it's BMW because they do not have cost-effective cars. They're expensive snobmobiles. So them trying to act like they care about what people pay is kind of a joke. BMW did start developing solid-state batteries several years ago. But now they're saying, hey, they're still too expensive to mass produce. And they say our new EVs will enter production with improved lithium-ion batteries. They're saying, and I quote, the most important thing in electric cars is lithium-ion battery. It's not finished. It's not finished. It's really not even begun when you think about it, you know? These things are not perfected. And of course, if they do make solid-state batteries, that'll be a relatively big game changer. They won't start on fire. They charge faster, last longer. But like I say, don't buy an electric car anytime soon with a battery in it. Everyone's finding out you have no anxiety range when you have a hybrid car, because the hybrid cars can go further and further and further, right? It's an add-on boost thing. You can get a plug-in hybrid if you want, but even the good ones can only go maybe 55 miles on electricity alone. But then the motor turns on, you go 500 miles more. Anybody that thinks electric cars are something they should buy now, listen to old Scotty. Wait, maybe if I'm still around 20 years from now, I'll be saying, hey, look, they finally perfected these electric cars and you should go out and buy one. But don't do it today. Well, they got so many problems with this Tesla Cybertrucks that make your head spin, but you gotta laugh at this one. A Tesla Cybertruck owner took his Cybertruck into a dealer and says, hey, I've got this loud wind noise. So what does the Tesla dealer say to him? They say, quote, the only way to stop the noise is by putting tape over the panel gaps. Okay, these things are so poorly made with that aluminum that's kind of, glued and welded on. The gaps are too big and the wind gets through and makes noise. But Tesla said, hey, you can only reduce that by putting tape over the body panels. Now, of course, the problem with all electric cars is they're quiet because they don't have gasoline motors and transmissions, so they're pretty quiet. Right? But that being, if the car is quiet, if it starts making any little noise, you're going to hear that stinking noise. The noise is going to be driving you nuts because you hear it all the time. Maybe the guy should do what I tell people, especially years ago when BMW was making really crappy plastic cars. The dashes would rattle as they aged and the plastic cracked and made noise. I said, just turn up the radio, baby. Just turn up that radio. Quote, concerns, customer states, wind noise. I took this issue to Tesla service and was told this is standard. However, after driving a lone Cybertruck you provided, I found that the noise in my truck is much stronger than in others. What does the technician say? There's no fix to the loud noise other than putting tape to cover the gaps. Further down in their little piece of paper they gave him back, it said repair notes. Verified the customer's concern. Drove and compared with two other trucks of similar VIN range and found the turbulence noise was consistent in all trucks. Some even louder than his. Anybody who's buying these things are fools. And it's just being proven over and over and over and over again. Look, it's an electric truck. It's quiet. Yes, but it's only quiet when it's sitting. Once it starts moving, you hear wind noise because the gaps are there and it's so poorly designed. This is proving that the Cybertruck is kind of like the Homer Simpson's fantasy car that he designed in The Simpsons, right? Some ridiculous looking thing designed by a moron. Most vehicle bodies, they have engineers design them, make them smooth, aerodynamic, so they're quiet, don't make any noise, right? This thing is like somebody glued a bunch of crap together and said, here, give me $100,000 for this thing. Well, the saga continues. Now Elon Musk is saying that all the federal workers have to respond to an email to tell them what they've done last week, or he's going to fire them if they don't respond. This is giant federal bureaucracy that spends all our money. Who knows what they're doing, but who the heck is even going to read these things, and what does it mean? And will they even do it? It looks like now their superiors are saying, don't even respond to this email. And if he tries stuff, we'll take him to court. Now, they're going to end up filling the courts with more frivolous cases. If they make thousands of people lose their jobs, guess what? Each one of them has the right to sue. Who's going to pay for this stuff? Taxpayers will be paying for it, right? That's the problem when you get a blanket idea. Yes, a great idea to stop government inefficiency. But Musk said that if you don't respond, I'm viewing that as a resignation and you've now resigned. It's emails. He wants people to respond by emails, tell them what they did. Emails are pretty much public record, right? You can't give all this information in emails. That's one of the most insecure ways of sending messages to people, right? You'd be better talking on the phone than you would send it an email that people can look at it and read. Criminals that are dumb enough to email their plans to people, and then they get caught that way and get thrown in jail. So, well, if you're like me and you wonder what's happening to those astronauts that got abandoned at the space station because the Boeing Starliner was a piece of crap, well, Well, they're still up there, people. They plan on bringing them back in March of 2025. And old Elon Musk says, I could have brought them back, but for political reasons, they didn't let me do it. So Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore are still stuck in that space station, waiting to be rescued. They say it's going to be March. Who knows what will actually happen? So talk about the world's longest layover. Hey, you're worried when you're flying somewhere and you're stuck for a few hours and maybe overnight at the San Francisco airport like my grandson was last year? Well, how'd you like to be stranded for months in outer space? Hey, the view is certainly good, but I don't know about the food and the sleeping accommodations. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.